We are nearing the end of the second day, but there is still plenty that we need to do. I'm going to try to fit it into this video, but we shall see.
Good day to you, pet.
Hello, Mrs. Duplancy. Do you still have some of your homemade Bakewell puddings, Mrs. Duplancy?
Oh, you're too late, pet. I've a few left, but they're set aside for someone else.
Might you please be able to bake me some more?
Sorry, I'm not in the mood for baking. Truth be told, my dear husband Albert passed away recently. Me thoughts are all over the shop.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Aye, he's in God's hands now.
Were you married to Albert a long time?
Aye, too many years to count. He were the cobbler here in Bewley, the most dashing cobbler in all of England, I used to tell him. Love is precious, pet. There's naught that can replace the hole it leaves in your heart.
I can relate to that in my own way. I wish you strength in this difficult time.
Thank you. With God's blessing, I'll get by.
May I ask who you have set aside the puddings for?
Oh, Father Roach. He won't be back until tomorrow.
Won't they be off by then?
Not at all. Besides, pet, as I told you, I'm not in the mood for all this baking chatter.
Sorry, Mrs. Duplancy. Thanks for your time.
Lord be with you.
She mentioned that her husband has just passed away. So I wonder if that's who this fresh grave was dug for.
The simple wooden cross bears a small plaque on which is inscribed the name Albert Duplancy.
Relative, are you?
No, just looking.
He were the cobbler. Who's going to mend me boots now?
Hello? Does this fresh grave belong to Mrs. Duplancy's late husband?
Aye.
Rather bare, isn't it?
My job is to dig the graves, not decorate them.
Goodbye.
Ta-ra.
We could have checked the grave before we spoke to Mrs. Duplancy, but as much as it's going to save a bit of time, I'm trying to apply some logic to my actions.
Good day to you, pet.
Hello, Mrs. Duplancy. I saw your late husband's grave, Mrs. Duplancy. I am very sorry for your loss.
Thank you, pet. I'm ashamed to say I couldn't afford naught more than a simple wooden cross. He were a colourful man, our Albert. He deserves better. He loved his flower beds. He's only been gone a fortnight, and already his plants have gone to rot. May the Lord forgive me.
Plants are difficult to maintain. I'm sure Albert would understand.
His precious hippeastrum were the first to go. I would have loved to lay one on his grave.
What does a hippeastrum flower look like?
Oh, beautiful things they are. Tall stems topped with large red flowers. Hard to grow in this climate. They were his pride and joy. The remarkable thing is there's no scent to 'em. That's why he loved 'em so much. You see, he hated anything that smelled sickly sweet. Hippeastrum were just perfect. Let me know if you come across one, won't you?
Of course, Mrs. Duplancy. Thanks for your time.
Lord be with you.
Now, where have we seen some rather large flowers recently?
These matched the description of the flowers Mrs. Duplancy mentioned. There's no scent.
You get away from my hippeastrum!
Ah, apologies.
Move!
Well, that confirms it. Those flowers. May I please take one?
Are you deaf and daft? Bugger off!
A bullying old harridan. There's no point trying to speak with her.
You could just take one and run.
Good day.
Hello.
I really need one of those hippiastrum flowers.
Why?
It's a long story. Might you please be able to get one for me, or distract Miss Fenchurch so I can take one?
Those flowers are Miss Fenchurch's favourites. She spends hours looking after them. Sorry, Mum. It's just that I'm so worried about Mr. Ambrose.
The milkman?
Aye. We were to run away together today.
I see.
I'm worried sick that he stood me up. Without Mr. Ambrose, this job is all I have. I can't risk losing it over a flower.
I'm sorry, Miss Tompkins. I still haven't seen him.
Do you think he's abandoned me?
I'm sure that's not the case. He must have been delayed somewhere.
Could you try to find him for me, Mum? Oh, please, Mum. I'd do anything for you if you found my love.
I can try.
Oh, thank you. You're ever so kind, Mum.
What does Mr. Ambrose look like?
He's got brown hair.
I'm afraid I'll need a bit more to go on.
Sorry, Mum. I'm too upset. Please find him, won't you?
Hey, stop your nattering and get back to your sweeping!
Sorry, Miss Fenchurch.
I'm guessing that Miss Fenchurch has not seen Ambrose. Sorry, Mr. Ambrose. We may as well ask around. I'm not going to go too far off the beaten track, but I will head in the right direction.
Good day to you, pet.
Hello, Mrs. de Plancy. Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
Oh, yes. Lovely young man.
Have you seen him today?
No, not today.
Any idea where he might be?
Sorry, pet. I don't.
Thanks for your time.
Lord be with you.
Good day.
Hey up.
Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
He's here every market day.
Except this one.
Aye. I haven't seen him today.
Any idea where he might be?
Not in the slightest.
Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
Who was that? He just stood there then disappeared rather quickly.
Time for a juicy mutton pie?
Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
Aye, I do. Why'd you ask?
Isn't he normally here at the market?
Aye, he's normally 2 pies in by now. Don't know where he is. I'm sure someone around here must know where he is.
Goodbye.
Let me know if you get hungry now, lass.
Good day.
Care to buy some apples?
Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
Eddie? Aye.
Have you seen him today?
No. Well, maybe his milk's gone off. I hope so. Might mean some of his customers have some spare coin for me veggies. Ah!
Goodbye.
You know where I am.
That sounded a little bit creepy.
Hello again, Mr. Shoulder.
Miss Bateman.
Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
Aye, I know the man.
Do you have any idea where he might be?
No, lass. Why?
No matter. Thank you for your time.
Aye, Miss Bateman. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
Aye, a good man.
Have you seen him today?
Come to think of it, no.
Goodbye.
See you soon.
Hello there.
Yes?
Is that your horse stationed in the alley?
Aye. Thistlecrack is her name.
That's an unusual name for a horse.
Aye. It were what she were called when I bought her. Glutton would be a better name. She likes her treats. But it feels wrong to change it.
Thank you for your time.
Make sure you watch my performance later, won't you?
I'll try.
A bit of a clue there, but it's a bit late now.
I've not seen him round the village before. Good day.
Hello there.
My name is Thomasina. What's yours?
Ralph. Not seen you around before.
I'm just visiting. What brings you to the market today?
I purchased a Scotch egg for me tea. You want a bite?
No, thank you. Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
I do, yes.
Have you any idea where he might be?
He is usually here by now.
So I heard.
He normally arrives via the road to the east of Bewley.
Thank you. I'm looking for some help with an excavation tomorrow. Might you be interested?
Sorry, miss. I've already got my own job.
Enjoy your Scotch egg.
I will.
Alright, let's check out the east.
There we are. Your shells are looking much more interesting now. I pestered Mother for years to let me bring some of your treasures here. I think she's worried that I want to follow in your path. She has hidden most of your discoveries away. I had to beg her to bring me to visit you, you know. I shouldn't worry you with all that. Do you know that I have a story for each of these pots? Well, I don't know if they're all true, but they are my memories. Even though I was so young, I still remember our adventures together. Would you like me to share my memories of them? Well, I'm going to, whether you like it or not. This is from the first dig I remember you taking me on. The excavation of West Kennet Long Barrow. I found it wedged behind a stone as you ate your sandwich. You said, "Now there's a tiny urn for a tiny girl." Mother was so angry when you brought this one home, wasn't she? "William, that simply will not do. It's taking up all the space on the mantelpiece." Once you moved it to your study, I remember creeping in to take a peek at it. We found this one together in that mucky old barrow near Avebury. I think it was the second time you'd taken me on a dig with you. I remember you bringing it up to your face to look inside and shrieking in horror. "There's a bloody rat in there," you screamed. I think you brought this one back from a trip abroad. I would have loved to go with you, but Mother didn't want me to. I remember you being so proud of it. It looks ancient. You were incredibly excited about this one. I hadn't gone on an expedition with you yet. You were so happy about it, showing it to Mother and I. You didn't stop talking about it for hours. I thought, how can Daddy be so excited over some old broken pottery? But it wasn't long until I understood. I almost forgot. While I was searching for your pots in the shed, I found one of your manuscripts. I thought Mother had burnt all your notebooks, but she missed one. It was an account of barrows across the east of England. I managed to read it all before Mother took it away. Daddy, it was fascinating. I've decided that is what I want to do with my life. I'm going to travel the country, excavating and documenting my own finds. Well, as soon as I'm old enough to escape Mother, that is. When you're feeling better, we can go out on expeditions together again, just like we used to. I promise you'll get better, Daddy. I'll do whatever it takes to make it so. There's something ahead on the road. Mr. Ambrose! I'm going to help you.
Well, that's frightening. Who did this to him?
What cruelty is this? Let me free you, sir. Curses! The rope is bound too tightly. I can't even free his mouth. Don't worry, sir. I'll find a way to free you. Bakewell, 32 miles. Bewley really was in complete isolation before the railway line came in. It's Herbert. He's lapping up the spilt milk. Spilt milk is soaking into the mud. The milk is not salvageable. Mr. Ambrose's cart has been smashed to pieces. The cart is beyond repair.
Alright. Mr. Ambrose has been suffering for long enough.
Please hold still. I'm going to cut you free. He had been so tightly bound that I could barely cut through without hurting him further. His mouth was stuffed full of flowers of a most peculiar scent. I was dismayed at such savagery, and wondered if the feral folk Father Roach had mentioned were responsible for this abhorrent act. After some considerable effort, I managed to cut him free. Are you all right?
I were lost in visions of hell itself. The devil. I saw the devil.
Who did this to you?
I don't remember. Oh, the terrible sights I saw. I won't forget them till my last breath.
Are you Mr. Ambrose?
Yes, Edward Ambrose.
You were to meet Miss Tompkins today.
Aye, my love. Oh, my darling love.
Let me take you to her. Here, take my hand. As we made the arduous trek to Panswick Manor, I probed Mr. Ambrose on who had done this to him. He insisted that he didn't remember anything, except for his nightmarish visions.
My love.
Eddie! Jesus, what happened to you? Were you in a fight?
Now, fret not, my love.
I thought you'd abandoned me.
Never. Thank your friend here for helping me out of a bind.
Oh, Eddie!
Let's get out of here, my darling.
Hang on.
You thieving bint! I'll have your guts for garters!
Oh, stick it where the sun don't shine, you bitter old sow!
The cheek!
Here you are, Mum.
Thank you, Miss Tompkins.
No, thank you for finding my poor Eddie.
Aye, thank you, lass.
Let's go, Eddie. I'm never setting foot on this god-forsaken estate again.
Good luck, you two.
I was about to say the same thing myself. I hope that they have lots of happiness.
The hippiastrum is beautiful. I hope Mrs. Duplancy will like it. I have something for you.
You found them? Oh, you dear child. Let's take them straight to Albert. You'll come with me, won't you?
Of course, Mrs. Duplancy.
You know, the things I miss most about him are the things that used to annoy me. The click of his jaw as he chewed his sandwiches, leaving his tools all around the house. The way he'd never back down from an argument. He's just quiet at home now. Silence. The funny thing is, that's what he always craved. Peace and quiet. He were a good man, our Albert.
Sounds like he was. I'm so sorry.
Do you fear death, pet?
Not at all. I dare say I won't be around to know it's happened.
But what of heaven and hell?
Life is for living, not for worrying about what comes after.
Albert didn't fear death either. You're both braver than I am.
It's not bravery, it's just trying to make the most of what we have in the present. One can neither live in the future, nor the past.
I fear it, but my faith keeps me going. I know I'll meet him again, in heaven.
Take that thought forward, Mrs. de Plancy. Remember it. One day, you will be reunited.
Thank you. Oh, those flowers look beautiful.
They do.
Albert will be smiling down on us. Pet, I left me basket inside the church. You'll find some Bakewell puddings in there. You can have them.
Oh, you...
I insist. You've brought an ounce of happiness into my day, dear. It's only just that I return some.
Thank you, Mrs. de Plancy.
To be truthful with you, I was saving them for myself. I shouldn't be so selfish. Lord forgive me.
You're nothing of the sort.
I'll stay here with Albert a bit longer. You go back to your day, Pet. Lord be with you.
And you, Mrs. de Plancy.
That is awfully kind of her.
Here they are.
Before we head back to Hanswick Manor, I'm going to have a little bit of a diversion.
Good day.
Hello there.
I found Mr. Ambrose.
Aye, I saw the two of you walk past not long ago. What the hell happened to him?
He refused to say, but I found him tied to a post.
Jesus.
Have you any idea who might have done such a thing?
No, lass. Where did you take him?
To a friend. He'll be fine.
Grand.
Enjoy your Scotch egg.
I will.
These flowers were stuffed into Mr. Ambrose's mouth. These flowers, perhaps they had a queer effect on Mr. Ambrose's mind. Perhaps I could show them to Mildred Walker.
Perhaps we could.
It's one of the flowers that had been stuffed into Mr. Ambrose's mouth. Mrs. de Plancy's famous Bakewell puddings. They smell delicious. Good day. Do you recognise this flower?
Hellebore. Quite common, in fact.
Is it known for any special properties?
Aye, many depending on who you ask. Some say it can be used in curses or incantations. They say it has the power to alter perception, opening a passage to the subconscious or another world.
So it causes one to hallucinate?
You could say so. I certainly wouldn't recommend eating it.
Thank you.
Alright, back to the story. Showing the hellebore to Mildred is not required, but it's still interesting to know about all the same.
The vision returns.
I come bearing gifts.
Freshly baked gifts?
Yes. 3 of Mrs. de Plancy's famous Bakewell puddings.
You are an amusing creature, Thomasina.
What do you mean?
You must think me a scoundrel of the highest order for asking you to undertake such folly. Of course I would have lent you my men either way. I merely desired an excuse to share a cake with you.
Lord Panswick.
I take no pleasure in watching you scurry about Bewley to fulfill my every whim. Or do I?
I do not find this amusing in the slightest. You have no idea what I had to go through to get these for you.
Oh, I do. And that's what I admire about you. Tenacity. Even in the face of something you know to be absurd. You don't give up, do you?
Never. Though in this case I ought to have.
Now then, will you share one of these tempting confections with me?
Something tells me that he will not take no for an answer.
Why not?
Splendid! I'm glad the rain doesn't put you off. You like to live a little dangerously, don't you, Thomasina? Let us stroll to the beck.
That sounds nice. We walked side by side down to the beck, his hand occasionally brushing my own. Despite Lord Panswick's entertaining company, I had an overwhelming feeling that time was being wasted. We ate those cakes down by the beck, and as he attempted the most charming lines he could muster upon me, I only had one thing on my mind. Father. Could he be saved from his suffering? Was the answer to be found within Hob's Barrow? I ached to find out. I didn't even notice the taste of those famous puddings. Seemingly disheartened by my lack of enthusiasm, Lord Panswick soon marched me back toward the ruined chapel.
Chaps, listen up. You're to assist Miss Bateman's excavation tomorrow. What time, Miss Bateman?
Early morning, if you don't mind.
We'll be there whenever you need us, miss.
Hob's Barrow. On the Bryden estate, if I'm not mistaken.
We'll be there.
Take your tools with you. Miss Bateman will need every assistance we can provide her with.
It's no bother.
Splendid.
Thank you, lads.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll see you later, my dear.
Thank you, Lord Panswick.
We're finishing up here, miss. See you tomorrow morning, all right?
Certainly. I appreciate your help. Well, that's a relief to have my crew assembled for tomorrow. It's getting dark and cold. Time to head back to the plough and furrow.
I don't believe that there are any other distractions. I do find it quite odd that all of a sudden everyone knows where and all about Hob's Barrow. where before they seemed rather reluctant to talk about it, or even acknowledge it.
Evening, Miss Bateman.
Good evening, Stanley.
Your lordship.
Stanley, my good man.
To what do we owe the pleasure of your visit, your lordship?
I've come to wish Miss Bateman good fortune for her grand excavation tomorrow. I'm really rather curious as to what she might turn up.
As am I, your lordship.
An exciting time for Bewley. Wouldn't you agree, Stanley?
Oh, yes, your lordship. Very, very exciting.
My dear, please, allow me the pleasure of buying you a drink. A welcome antidote to the wind's bite. Wouldn't you say, Stanley?
Yes, indeed, your lordship.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Splendid. You heard the fair lady.
There you are.
Thank you.
Everyone, raise your glasses to Miss Bateman. May she conquer Hobbs Barrow and find all that she desires. Hip hip!
Hooray!
You don't wish to join me in a beverage?
Oh, you go ahead, my dear. Alcohol does not sit well with my constitution.
Thank you, your lordship. I needed that.
I aim to provide you with whatever your heart desires. I've reminded my chaps they're to meet you at Hobbs Barrow in the morning.
Thank you again, Lord Panswick.
Till we meet again, faites des beaux rêves. Mr. Shoulder?
Your lordship?
Hello again, Mr. Shoulder.
Miss Bateman.
I've recruited the help of some local labourers to help with the excavation.
Marvellous. When do we start?
Tomorrow morning, first thing.
Wonderful.
Can I count on your assistance?
Of course. I'll meet you here at the Plough and Furrow.
Thank you for your time.
Aye, Miss Bateman. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
You've changed your tunes, Stanley. An exciting time for Bewley. I thought you didn't want me to excavate Hobbs Barrow.
Well, what can I get you?
I'm fine for now, thank you.
Hold on. If my understanding is correct, Fates de Beau Rêve translates to have sweet dreams? Is that correct? Does he know something that we don't?
They are engaged in an intense discussion. I'll leave those two to their conversation. There's nothing else I wish to discuss at the moment. Cyril seems gruff and unwelcoming, but I sense he may be a kind man under this facade. Hello again, Cyril.
You're still here? Leave me be, lass.
Tower. Seen her.
Arthur?
I've remembered something.
What is it, Arthur?
Not here. Meet me outside, in the alley.
He's stinking drunk, but let's hear what he has to say.
He's always stinking drunk.
What is it?
First of all, I must apologise to you. That night we met, when I vanished.
Yes?
Well, there were a man in the loo. A hooded man. He threatened me with a beating if I told you anything about what I saw.
Oh, Arthur, that's terrible. What did you see?
That's the thing. I hadn't the foggiest idea what he were on about. It was a drink, you see. I'm an embarrassment, Thomasina.
No, you're not, Arthur.
Here's what I need to tell you. I've remembered what you were on about.
Oh?
Aye.
Standing in the woods today, I knew there was something. I waited, I concentrated, and it finally came back to me.
Please, you're keeping me in some serious suspense here.
All right. It were a couple of days before I met you.
Hurry now, Leonard.
I'm not as quick as I used to be. This leg is getting worse by the day.
Yes. I'm constantly made aware of your failing health. Do not fear. You said he has promised you the reward of your returned strength.
Aye, and it can't come soon enough.
Are you sure that it must be her blood?
Aye, she's family.
And she gets here in 2 days?
Aye.
We must bring her to the site as soon as she arrives.
No. Your lordship, with all due respect, we've been through this. We need to ease her into the idea. She will laugh in our faces if we just asked for it.
Who said we would ask?
He told me that she needs to give it willingly.
This little scheme of yours better work, Leonard.
It will, your lordship. We've got the perfect bit.
Wait. Who goes there? Did you hear something? Ah, a moonlight tryst. After something, are you, Mr. Tillett?
Your lordship, let me...
Save your words, you drunken wretch. Off you go, skedaddle. Don't make me ask twice. I do wish you wouldn't spend so much time with that fool. It's beneath a woman of your standard. It's sad, really. That dog urine they serve here has rather pickled the man's brain.
You're being most unfair to him. Mr. Tillett is a nice man.
Come now. I shall bid thee adieu once more, but I do not wish for this to come between us. All the very best wishes for your excavation tomorrow, my dear.
Thanks.
Well now, do we believe Mr. Tillett? After that encounter, I'm inclined to do so. I trust Lord Panswick. As far as I can throw that horse. Sweet dreams, eh?
So, Thomasina, the journal proves I'm telling you the truth, does it not?
It does.
Good. Now listen. I can help him again. We can help him. Together.
How?
All those years ago, your father entered this barrow with the goal of binding me within it. All because the people of Bewley had gotten it into their heads that Saxon were cause of their plight. I tell you, Thomasina, we're not. Your father botched his incantation, leaving me in this weakened state, stuck in this limbo. As for him, well, you know how he ended up.
This doesn't sound right. Incantations. My father is a man of...
You don't know your father, Thomasina. How old were you? A child of not even 5, 6 years? You need to enter this barrow and undo what your father did. The spell must be undone. Then not only will I regain my strength, but your father will too.
But how do I...
Blood. The truest symbol of life and death. It's the life which flows within you, but it's also death once it escapes.
I don't understand.
Worry not how you'll undo what's been done. When the time comes, you'll know exactly what to do. Time is short. Your father and I grow weaker by the hour. Go. Save your father.